Hello, good evening everybody, and welcome into Off the Line Racing here for our first race of Season 7 on this new DLC with the 26 cars. We have Division 2 with racing here tonight, and as you can see, if you can tell by the pit lane, if anybody knows their pit lanes, we are here in Spa in Belgium to kick things off. So being one of the longest, if not the longest lap on the calendar, it's going to be an interesting one to see how these guys get on, as there's plenty of room for the racing, and with these new regulations, the battery management around this track is going to be especially key compared to some of the shorter tracks on the calendar. So we'll see how they get on with that side of things as they get into the race. But obviously with qualifying, it's not as much of an issue. You still need to be able to know how to manage your battery well to make sure you don't leave yourself short with that long back straight here in Spa. So yeah, I'm excited now that things are getting officially back underway, and what a track to kick things off. So bear with me for a second while I do my bits and bobs here, and then we'll get on board with some of the drivers as they're making their way out to the track. I want that one. And I think that is it. Lovely. So let me just get the stream up just for a brief second so I can see that audio is all good as well. That's one thing that would be good to double check before we get too far into it. But yeah, first season here on the under the new regulations, and first race of the season, so it's in the unknown territory of what these drivers are going to be capable of doing. Obviously, anyone who's familiar with us from any of our previous seasons, quite a few drivers that have been with us for a while have returned again, as we can see on the timing board, and a good mix of new drivers as well. El Padrino, David, the two Aston Martins there. LD Rail, I think, is new for this season. Chiz, who's a reserve today, I think this is his debut. And then Meza F1 is one of the other reserves. And just two reserves we have in tonight. And then it's Farm down the bottom is a fairly new driver, if I remember rightly. Ricky will probably tell me if not. Yeah, other than that, I think most of the others are returning drivers that we're seeing here tonight. So got an idea of how some of them were in the old regulations, but obviously with the new regulation change and everything, it's, as I said a second ago, it's unknown territory on what these guys are going to be capable of in these cars. We've just come on board with It's Farm. I'm going to call him It's Farm because that's easier than trying to say, or I'll call him It's FX. We'll go with that. It's FX. Here in the Haas going down the main straight now. Yeah, I've got everything I want on. Yeah, right, done that. So we'll stay on board with him being the first one to do a hot lap and see what time he can start us off with on the board. Looking fairly tidy through these corners already. As I say that, looked like a little bit of a snap out of there, which would have cost him a bit of time. We've got LD Rail in the chat saying not feeling confident, got a wheel problem, but gonna have to push through it. So hopefully that's not too bad of a wheel problem for you, and you are able to deal with it and still have a good race tonight, with it being the first one. Especially, you want to put your mark on it in a good way. But we're now coming down the back straight with It's FX. See if he's managed his battery well. You can see that light flashing on the back. He If you leave yourself short, you can lose a lot of time down this back straight, and then a very short straight mode as we come towards the end of the straight into the bus stop. Looked okay through the bus stop, so we'll see what time he gets on. It's a 1:45.6 to kick us off. And then we've got a Mercedes coming behind. That's LD Rail starting a lap. Dr. Steele's our next man. There's a lot of people coming down that back straight, trying to apologise with the flicking. As anybody who knows, Xbox, you can't just jump to a driveway. So, not ideal, but I'll try and keep the flicking to a minimum. Ty Clear's coming to an end of the lap here, just coming out of bus stop, so we'll see what he can put on the board for his first lap. And he goes with a 150.8, so he's definitely had an issue somewhere on his lap, or he's doing a double out lap. I think, knowing Ty quite well, he does like on certain tracks to do the double out lap, or he did in the old regulations, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go down. That's going up. Let's go down. We'll go to LD Rail. No, he's not pushing, so he's invalidated. So we'll go down to Robin West, who's just started his lap. The other Haas teammate to its FX. And he doesn't look to be pushing either as we come out of turn one. I'm not sure if he maybe have had a hot lap and invalidated it. So anybody who's out and on a lap, they've all put one in, and we have Nicholas currently, who's the only one in the 44s, just shy is Dr. Steele in second with 45.0, and then Ashton the Brit, who he's our comms for tomorrow, but Ashton the Brit in P3 with a 45.3, so times for a banker for those top three, not too bad from what I know of this track, but definitely going to see those times come down, obviously, as we get deeper into the qualifying session with the natural track improvement that we get at the latter stages of qualifying. But Nicholas putting himself in a good position to begin with. Got LD Rail, who now looks like, no, is he pushing? I don't know. He might just be having a setup test. Just seeing how his car feels at the minute. Go on board with Shrek. Stalos, we'll just call him Shrek to keep it short. Who looks like he is pushing on this lap, so we'll stay on board with him for this and see where he can put himself in the timings, as all the other cars that are in the pit are now out on their out laps. We're already coming up to the half, almost up to the halfway point of qualifying. As I was saying at the start, with being one of the longest tracks, it does, by the time you've watched a lap around here, the time does tick away. So the traffic, the Ferrari there, keeping well out the way for him. Good run down the final straight. See that rear wing close as they come into the bus stop chicane. It doesn't work in the same way as DRS. They called it straight line mode. For anybody who doesn't know, I imagine you all do know, but just put it out there for anybody who doesn't. Straight line mode is what the new official name is for it from the old DRS, where the front wing and the rear wing both move. So the front wing drops and then the rear wing opens up, similar to the old DRS system. But Shrek there puts a 148.1, so that puts him currently P12 as he's just jumped down. We'll go on board with Hilly, who's coming down the first straight. Now in the Ferrari, our tier coordinator here for tier 2, so he's the one that keeps all these people in their place. Ashton says, who jinxed him? Did I jinx him? No, I didn't say anything to jinx him, I don't think. Yeah, if anybody in the chat is, I think the audio seems all good. cars aren't overpowering me and I'm not overpowering them. It seems alright. Hilly, if I remember from the pre-season that we had, he looks to be doing alright. He had a bit of time out. I don't think he did much on the 25 regulations at all. He's had a bit of time out and he's returned back to racing, so he seems to have picked it up pretty well, considering. And as I say that, he puts himself top, so he's there you go, with a 44.704, so 0.2 faster than Nicholas's first attempt. A very, very decent first lap there from Hilly. Puts himself in a strong position to now try and push the car even more on his next run on the hot lap. The wheel flick down. Oh, yeah, one of them's just disappeared. We'll go to Pedrino, see if he's on a lap. I mean, it says that he's on a lap, but if he's pushing, we'll soon see. And he does, and he goes up into P6 with a 45.5, so time's tight there between 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Well, fairly tight, you know, especially around a track like this where the gaps are naturally, or can naturally be bigger. They're pretty close there, them four. At 44.7 from Hilly, that's a very good starting lap for Hilly. Try and see who else is on the lap. We've got two Red Bulls near each other. Again, apologies for the flicking. I've gone past them. There they are. It's Ashton, who's in front of Sid. Sid, as you see in the background there, goes in to the pits. Shrek comes in the chat saying, totally messed my lap up. Well, Shrek, you got a good amount of time to go again. There's a squeak. I heard a squeak on the audio then. Yeah, anybody in the chat, if there's any problem with the audio, please do let me know and I'll see what I can do to sort it out. Obviously, being the first race back, some things might need fine-tuning, but hopefully everything is okay. So it's just Robin West, and there has to, I think he invalidated his last lap, didn't he? He was yet to set a lap. He's definitely pushing on this one so far, so hopefully he can keep it valid and get himself a time on the board as we come into the final 5 minutes of qualifying. Once he finishes this lap. So he'll have to quickly get the in-lap done if he wants to be able to get out and go again. But for now, he's just got to concentrate on this lap that he's on and then worry about that afterwards. It's very difficult to keep the charge around quite a fair bit of this track. We've got the heavy braking zone of into the bus stop chicane, but everywhere else is sort of mediocre, sort of medium like braking, not really on any major heavy braking. So you've got to be really careful on where you choose to deploy the battery in the boost mode. See the Aston Martin just get out of the way in time there, coming through the bus stop chicane. Looked nice and tidy through there, to be fair. See where he goes, and he jumps himself up into P9 with a 1:45.736. But let's go to Nicholas, who, in watching that guy's lap, has put himself a faster lap down. He's 1:44.777. I missed that. Trying to keep up with everybody, so he's put himself into the 7s. Close to Hilly, but not quite enough to beat Hilly at the moment. And then Dr. Steele, so splitting the two Ferraris if he stays where he is. Dr. Steele's coming down into the bus stop. I imagine he's on the in lap. He is. We'll go for Pedrino getting out of the way. We'll go to Griffin. He could possibly be on a push lap because his rear light's not flashing to suggest that he's charging at the moment. Audio's fine, lovely. What I like to hear, nothing needs fine tuning. Audio's fine, lovely jubbly. There's that noise, that was me opening the can of Coke. Got to keep the whistle wet when you're commentating. You don't want to sound like Harry Kane did the other day with a drive. That's everybody who's got a time on the board now, which is a bit nice to see. Everybody with a time. It can be frustrating when you're invalidating things, and as you see that clock ticking down, like especially on a track as long as this one, it starts to get pretty stressful. We've got Drizzle, who looks to be on the next push lap going down. You've got McLaren was getting out of his way, but he decided to go through them. Obviously we run collisions off here in qualifying, so the only sort of impediment that can happen is visually, and you see Dr. Steele went off the track there, so he's not going to be putting that lap down. Have a look, Shrek, he's on his in lap. So we're back to Pedrino. Everybody doing their final adjustments and coming out of the pits on their outlaps now. Looking at the map, we've got quite a few that have just come out of the pit. And they've got plenty of time, as you can see, where they're doing 140s odd, so they got an extra 15 seconds more than the fastest times they're down at the minute to do their outlap in that 2 minutes that we had when they were coming out. As Andres retires from the session, so either he feels like he can't improve or he's not going to have the time to improve. Oh, I've skipped back to Pedrino. Apologies. The 3 drivers in the 44s at the moment. Oh, a little bit snappy into the bus stop chicane there for Pedrino. And doesn't improve on his time, I don't think. I didn't see it flick. Kind of got my eyes in like 3 different places at the moment. Yeah, 3 drivers in the 44s, and then Ashton the Brit in P4. In the with 45.2, the quickest in the 45s at the moment. We've got, I think it's either a Ferrari or an Audi, because Audis come up red, don't they? Yeah, so there's Nicholas that's on a lap. We'll stay with Nicholas for this one, being the closest to pole at the moment, and see if he can get an improvement on the 44 777 that he has, as Hilly now retires. But Hilly mustn't think that he can get any better, or as I say, he can't. He's left it too late to get out. I can't see a yellow flag or anything to say. Oh no, there it is in sector 1. Maybe he couldn't get out in time. I'm not sure on that one there. But either way, Nicholas's lap here looking very, very tidy. Car's looking planted for him, very stable. Not seeing him seems to be wrestling it as much as we've seen a couple of the drivers in this qualifying session, with a couple of snaps here and there. Dr. Steele takes our new pole. He was the other red car ahead with 45.5, so knocks almost 2 tenths off of Hilly's, and Nicholas, sorry, does improve on his lap and puts a 44.6, so that puts him into P2 again, splitting the Ferraris up. Just the other way round now, with Dr. Steele being the leader. We'll go on board with Ashton, who's coming down the back straight. See if he can get himself. I know he might not be on a push lap actually. Saying that, he isn't, because he wasn't on a push. He was on a hot lap before, so Mezza's going to be one of our final ones. No, he's in. See, I've lost all craps here. Everybody's done. Trying to keep up with everybody there when they were so close, which one's on and which one's not. But only 3 drivers breaking into the 44s today. Dr. Steele, Nicholas and Hilly, and then all the way down to P11 in the 45s. But considering it's a long lap, from P4 to P11, it's pretty close. Obviously Ashton got 3 tenths on its FX, but from there, from say P5 to P11, it's pretty close between them lot. So they can bring that closeness into the racing and give us some good racing here. Being the debut race of the season. So for anyone who's not familiar, we do a lobby reset. So fear not when you see everybody crashing or anything at the start of this race, that's how some choose to retire themselves. It's not everybody going on a mad one. It's all part of the plan and part of the process. I didn't scroll down for the screenshot. I know who's down there, don't worry about that bit, but I didn't scroll down for the screenshot. Bummer. Never mind, we'll sort that out. Got to get used to the process myself. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, Ricky's just sent an image. Yeah, I got it. I've got it for that bit. I knew it was down there. I just didn't get the times, but really good. But here comes the carnage I was speaking about, where we see everybody retire their cars, and being Belgium Turn 1, what a place for it. There will be a couple of quiet moments from me. Shouldn't take long at all. Just as I obviously reset the grid to the qualifying order, and then give the Hilly, our tier coordinator, the go ahead to get them all ready. I've got my infamous black screen. There we go. Always does it on Belgium for me. Gives me a bit of a black screen, takes its time. I get it usually when I'm racing myself. And I'll be there on the grid wanting to put my setup on. And just get a black screen. Until like the last 10 seconds of the countdown. But a good qualifying for the first one of the season. Quite a few drivers I was reading in the chat beforehand were a bit uncertain on how they're going to perform around this track with it being so long, but it didn't seem too bad for them. So yeah, I'm just going to go quiet a minute while I sort these settings out. Alright, they all look good, so we'll go to getting the grid in order. Anyone in the chat, what's your predictions? Give me a winner prediction. And if you think we'll see the safety car. Usually, quite in previous times, they've been quite well behaved. We don't seem to see the safety car an awful lot, like, which is a good thing. Ash, where are you? Why am I not seeing you, my friend? That's why, because you're all the way down here. And so is he. Looks good. Hilly, the tour coordinator now, hopefully should get all those green ticks. There we go, they start lighting up and get this race going. 22 laps here at Belgium. Nobody Cares in the chat with his prediction says big crash turn 1 and Hilly to win. Shrek also saying Hilly for the win, Ferrari 1-2. Anyone else? Winner Dr. Steele from LD Rail. And then Aiden in the chat says, come on, V-Carb. And then D Summers, massive T1 crash. Oh yeah, D Summers to it. You're going to win viewer of the day. But a couple people predicting a big T1 crash. Be interesting whether it is a short rundown and it's a turn 1 here, and then it's quite a tight corner as well, so it's definitely set up for that sort of occasion, but hopefully everybody can make it through cleanly and then sort themselves out after that. The non-participant trophy. Yeah, we'll call it that. Ricciardo VOTD, yeah, viewer of the day. The Aiden missed the qualifying. Qualifying was pretty close, especially down in the mid-pack sort of range from sort of P5, 6 down to P11. We're all within tenths and less than a tenth of each other, and the top 3 were the only 3 to make it into the 44s. I think Ashton in P4 was very close. So it was 45-0, I think. I clicked ready by accident, so hopefully everybody's got their setups okay. But we're back, we're here, down on the line, the lights are lit, the engines are screaming, and not a very long hold, we're away. Looks to be a good getaway from Dr. Steele though, going straight to the left to cover off Nicholas into turn 1. Hilly down on the inside, almost being overtaken by Ashton the Brit there, but manages to keep the position as they make the run down to Eau Rouge now. They've got to still having a very good getaway. We'll stay on board with this Hilly and Ashton battle as we're coming down the main straight. They're side by side. Ashton can't quite get up enough to make the move as of yet. We're slotting in behind, it's only lap 1. Play it simple, be patient as we have our first retirement. El Padrino at the end of the main straight there. Didn't see what happened to him, but that has brought out a lap 1 safety car here as I see the yellow dot there on the map. So that will neutralise everything from now. Everybody can settle down into their positions. Nicholas getting ahead of Dr. Steele as well, as we saw on that battle. The head-on view that we had. Dr. Steele having a good getaway, just like the Ferraris in real life, but not able to maintain it before the safety car was then thrown. He's going to have to settle in P2 there with his teammate Hilly. Maybe them two can orchestrate something together, be a roadblock in a legal way to everyone behind, but be interesting when we get back under green flag to see what those two do, whether they work together or, you know, with it being the first race, they're all there to sort of make their own statement, and whether they battle each other. As we expect to see that with them being racers, but with the restart, are they going to play the team game or play I'm racing for myself game? But most of rear does Sid drop back, so I'm wondering if he had a bit of damage or had something to do with the Padrino. We didn't quite see it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, he's in the pit. I didn't even notice that. Come on, wakey. Him and Andres both choosing to pit under this safety car. So that's Sid down from P6, I think he was. Alright, Aiden missed the qualifying. Yeah, Aiden. He's got a soft cover with me to go in the V card. Which one would that be? Well, it's not Ty. So hopefully everybody, you know, the track's clear, the back guys are back on the pack, and we may see the, you know, the safety car will have to stay out for another lap, I think, but, you know, it can come in then at the end of that lap, and we can get back to the racing. Nobody likes being behind a safety car for too long. So Aiden, that's why I couldn't see your sub replacing you. He didn't make it. I was there thinking I can't see two V-cubs. That's because there's not two V-cubs. Also, Ty Clear, Chiz and David all choosing to pit. Ty Clear picking up a penalty. See whether that's a strategical pit or for any minor damage that they may have had. Opting to get it out of the way now, just in case there isn't a further safety car, and it makes sense to do it under the safety car so you don't lose anywhere near as much time as you would under normal green flag conditions in the pit lane. Go back with the front runners as David picks up a 3 second time penalty. Got quite a mix up of tyres here, a little rainbow going on. From what I can see on the tyre walls, we'll put the there we go. We'll put the tyres on briefly. So Nicholas there with medium and Dr. Steele on the hard. So maybe that had something to do with. Yeah, he had a good get-go. There's the safety car call that's going to be in this lap. So the back's going to be packed up now. The pack is going to be backed up now while that makes its way to the pit lane. Maybe that had something to do with. How Nicholas got past him at the end of the straight as they went into that chicane. Only two runners in the top 10 that opted to start with the hards, and then we have Ashton LeBrit who opted to start on the soft. If I know rightly, the softs can last here, but we're going back racing now, so we'll stick with these at the front of the minute, as there they go across the line, normal grip conditions. The boost mode will be re-enabled in straight line mode. No, I don't think that gets disabled, but it will be re-enabled for them, and Nicholas has a good getaway. Already 7/10 on Dr. Steele, who's going to be on those cold hards, which aren't going to be very nice for him. That could make him susceptible to an overtake from Hilly, but Hilly doesn't look to be close enough to go in for any kind of move at the moment. But those front three having a good getaway. They're already a second ahead of P4, so all three of them got restarted from that safety car pretty well. Ignore the yellow flag, that's just the game doesn't like to get rid of it when the safety car goes in. Hasn't for a very long time, as we see a slide from what looked to be one of the Hasses, but it might not be. It was a white car. It looked like a Hass. I think it might have been Robin West. If it wasn't one of those, it was a Cadillac. Definitely saw a car sideways then in the background. No, Nicholas put gaining more time on Dr. Steele now. Dr. Steele with his teammates still close behind, and then I think it's fine. He must it's effects. He must have used a fair bit of battery, because those front three were a second away, and we see Hilly go in for the move on Dr. Steele, gets it done into the bus stop, and then another move happening behind with Itzfan and Ashton, but Itzfan looks like he was able to defend Ashton this time round, and we can see them going side by side again. Ashton round the outside, able to carry a bit more speed into the corner, gets the exit, and Itzfan had to settle in behind him this time round. So good move there for Ashton, getting himself back up into P4. Hoping that he can chase these battling Ferraris down. He's got Steele almost pushing Hilly through that corner there. Got past nice and cleanly in the end, very close to him, to his rear end as they were coming onto that straight. So a nice little battle going on for these, but while they are battling, this is allowing Nicholas to just edge away. Being on the mediums over Dr. Steele's hards, you would sort of expect in these first couple of laps from the restart him to naturally have more grip and be able to do so, but this is all doing Dr. Steele some kind of favours in a slight sort of way, being on the harder tyres, because he's able to put them through a bit more than the guys on the mediums before their mediums start crying to them. So he can, being able to maintain this sort of pace on the hards isn't too bad at the current stage of the race. Whether it will cost him in the latter stages, we'll have to wait and see. But if these two can keep cleanly overtaking each other, we've got an on-board camera, can we have the off-board, please? If these two can work well together, just slingshotting like they are, passing each other, not battling too much into the corners, then this could play out for Dr. Steele in a decent way. And we see the Haas and the Red Bull going side by side again with its FX and Ashton LeBrit. Ashton LeBrit able to, again, to defend it well and get the better exit out of turn one. Both the Hasses also together, as we see HFX going for the move now down the main straight, almost going into the back of Hilly, as I think Hilly was doing a bit of Lyco there that almost caught FX out with having the extra speed that he had, and then Ashton LeBrit comes on back fast again. Lovely battle going on between these two at the moment, just constantly exchanging positions. As Swifty is asking me to briefly show the tyres again. I don't know if that was before or after, but I'll quickly put them up. So there is your tyres. Ashton, the only one who opted to start on the soft, and then a pretty even split between the hard and the mediums currently. A couple of the guys on the hards at the back have already made a stop. If I show you there you go. I'll get rid of that. But we'll stay on board with these guys in a moment. As now both the Hasses are going side by side. Robin West is deciding to go for the move on his teammate down the back straight. Little bit of a bump there, but nothing too serious between them. Into the bus stop. Oh, that's nice. As I say, Robin West has the inside line, but then he has to. Then that puts him on the outside of the exit of the bus stop, and that seemed to play well for him as he got the move completed on It's FX, and he's now ahead and on the chase for Ashton. So Ashton's already had a bit of a battle with one of the Hasses. Now he's looking at having a battle with the other one. Dr. Steele maintaining around the 3-second mark on Nicholas at the moment, so those hards are starting to come into play for him a little bit now. As Robin West almost got caught out there. He's going to be a bit later on the brakes than what Ashton was. And he gave him a little turnout to let sort of bluff the move a little bit. Try and just make sure Ashton is checking his mirrors and knows he's there. But very nice battling going on between both the Hasses, and then with the Hass and the Red Bull in these opening laps. So far as we're at a third of the way in, they've definitely given a decent go at it for the opening stage. Robin West now is very close to Ashton. I wonder if he's going to go for the move. Yeah, he is. He's now side by side. He's going to go for it into the bus stop. Ashton defending it on the inside. Robin having to slot back in as we've got a Griffin leaving. So bear with me, guys, while I just try and get him an invite back. There we go. Now we've got It's FX battling with Meza. So the Hasses are really having to work for the positions they hold at the moment. Both battling with having separate battles in this lap. As we see the Hass going for the move on Ashton, gets the move done before they need to hit the brakes. Nice clean overtake there for Robin West on Ashton a bit. I imagine Ashton now is starting to feel the degradation, starting to feel the wear on those softs. I wonder what Ashton's going to be doing here with his strategy, if he's going to be trying to long the softs out and then maybe switch to a hard to the end, or whether the two-stop strategy is an optional, feasible strategy in this race. As somebody, my Elvis, is that? Yeah, 44.5, that was our pole time. The top three being the Dr. Steele, with then Nicholas, then Hilly, all being the only ones to get into the 44s. As LD Rail picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Down there battling with Ty Clear currently. We'll have a little look at this. As he gets through on Ty, he looks for the move on the Aston Martin into the bus stop. Aston Martin, the Alpine, sorry. Begins with A, but not the right A. And then goes into the pits. We'll go back to these guys then. It's FX now going for it again on his teammate. But yielded it there. Not really the place you want to be going side by side, going up Al Rouge. But he's going to go and have a look again now down the straight. And while doing that, the Cadillac of Meza is also going to have a look. And is he going to have a look at getting both of them? As It's FX closes the door there, and he has to settle to squeeze in between and be in a Haas sandwich. Now he pulls out to have a look on It's FX again. got the inside line around the hairpin. This is a big hairpin. But gets the move done, and now the Cadillac, in a matter of a couple of corners, gets both the Hasses, and that puts the Hasses back side by side. And Robin West making a nice move on its FX there, keeping each other on the toes. These two Hasses, that's for sure. They're, you know, teammates after all, but they're having a very good little tussle with each other. It's FXS with a penalty, but even so, on track, they're having a lovely little tussle, a lovely little battle between themselves, and then that's allowing a couple of other cars around them to get involved, as we've seen so far. But they're going at it again, and it's FX now re-overtakes his teammate, and the first batch of pit stops are now coming into play from the medium runners. It's FX now choosing to go in. So that sets Robin West free from battling with his teammate for now. And he can concentrate maybe on re-overtaking Meza. So Dr. Steele picking up the lead of the race for now. Being on those hards, he's able to be on the longer run for this first stint. It will be interesting to see what happens with him when he does stop and where he comes out in the field, because everybody's still relatively close further down. We've got Griffin and Ty Clear having a battle here. Griffin looking like he's got the move done on Ty. He managed to rejoin nice and quickly and not lose too much in his race. I'd like to see that. Obviously disconnecting is not ideal for anybody. We'll go back with this Haas of Robin West and Meza. But for the first 10 laps, it's been a lovely battle between the Red Bull and the Hasses, then the Cadillac and the Hasses. And they had a little go at the Ferrari and the Ferraris. If it's FX, and the other Haas had a little look at the Ferraris in the first couple of laps after the safety car. In lap 4 or 5, I think it was. So LD Rail comes in the chat and said he lost his wing, so that's why he's down where he is currently. And we got more positions changing back here. That's because Griffin has now chosen to go into the pits. So that's let Ty Clear have a little bit of breathing space. Sid, close to the net leader of the race at the moment, Nicholas, who has stopped, I believe. Yes, he's got to have. He'll be back there, unless he had a little accident that I didn't see, but that's not the case. He has stopped, so but Sid is right behind him at the moment, getting the luxury of that boost mode, the overtake mode, an extra bit of power while trailing the car ahead of you by 1 second. You get a little bit more charge back and a bit of extra power to use. So Sid will want to try and stay in that 1 second of Nicholas as long as he can to do favours on his race. We'll go further down here where Hilly, who has also stopped, has got Shrek and Andres both close behind him. As Sid now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Don't let that get to you too much, Sid, if you can hear, if you're listening. Just keep your head down, put the laps in. Just try not to pick up any more. That's all I can say. But it's FX getting through on Andres on them pressure tyres now. Wonder if he's going to put some kind of undercut on his teammate, which we'll soon find out. Because his teammate Robin West is now in the pits himself as he goes wide a little bit out of the bus stop there. manages to stay ahead of Andres. And he does undercut his teammate by quite a chunk. What is that, 3 seconds nearly? Yeah. So the undercut looking very strong on this track, because I believe they were both, yeah, they were both on mediums, they were both on the same tyre, so yeah, undercut is looking very, very strong around this track. Ratty get Ashton in D1. He's down there in 14th at the moment. He had a decent start, Ashton. He was defending well from, having a nice little battle and defending well from the Haas of It's FX, I think it was. Bear with me a second, guys. I've just got to put myself in a party because I'm coming through the game chat. Because I was in a Xbox party on my own for a bit of time, it disconnects me because it thinks I'm being a loner, and I could see my mic lighting up in the game chat. I don't think anyone else should have been able to hear me, but they don't want to if they could. So sorry about that, but that's now sorted. And Nicholas back up into P2. He just has Dr. Steele, who's on that alternate strategy, starting on the hards, who's yet to stop, but he's only within 10 seconds, so it's whether Hilly gets a decent undercut on Dr. Steele and then what sort of happens from there. Like, as I said in the earlier stages, it's going to be interesting to see just how this plays out really for Dr. Steele in the longer run. He's going to be on the faster tyre, but he comes out into a decent bit of traffic that might not be so good for him. Oh, a little bit of a judder there from Chiz. Unless that was my end. We've got a battle going on down here, and somebody goes off the track there in the background. I think that's It's FX, it was. It's FX going a bit too hot into the chicane. Locking up, he's locked up again. It seems like he's struggling on these hards, or he's having some kind of other issues, maybe wheel issue or something like that, but he's definitely not having a nice time at the moment. We'll go back to these guys who are now battling as Robin gets through on Shrek. And Robin having a pretty strong race, I must say. So far he's done well. He's been battling with his teammate, and he's had a decent start really. With these, we've got a close couple of cars here. Greg Andres, still in the 1 second, just breaking out the 1 second there for Andres, so Andres may not get the overtake mode. He won't. Is he going to get him there? He's just getting himself back in it, so it's going to be Shrek that may. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Did any of those two get it? I wonder. I'm not sure where the detection point is. Ashton the Brit now coming up close to Griffin. Nice tidy move. Gets it done before braking, and now we can just look to get forwards and gain. As Ashton started on those softs, dragged him out quite a bit longer than I expected him to. Maybe the safety car, or no, probably the safety car had played its part on being able to long the softs out a little bit more. But quite a bold move from Ashton, being the only one to start on the softs Didn't think we would see the softs personally, especially for starting the race. So does Ashton know something that everyone else doesn't know? We'll soon see. But Dr. Steele on those hards now coming in the pit, so we'll just go on board with him a minute and see where he comes out, because I've got a feeling Hilly may have the undercut on him. No, he doesn't. Okay, so he's done well. He's done very well to come in and still be in second. I thought Hilly stopping a bit sooner may have gained on him a little bit, but Hilly's had a bit of traffic to deal with. We've got a bit of shuffling going on here. Ty Clear with Chiz, and we have a yellow flag in sector 3. That's for a Mercedes. It's the LD Rail, I think, and he's trundling it into the pit. We'll go back, and with these, it's the safety car. I see the yellow dot. Yeah, it is. It's the safety car. Thanks. Well, I didn't see the notification. I'm there thinking they were still racing. So again, for the time being, the race will be neutralised. People can sort themselves out, and they'll all be gathered up close again. So as it stands, Dr. Steele, or if he could have pitted left them tyres another couple of laps. I mean, he didn't do too bad though. Even though he has done, like say, P2, I don't know whether he would have gained too much with it, stopping under the safety car, really. Maybe he would have been just behind Nicholas instead of 11 seconds behind, but I think Dr. Steele's done pretty well on those hards to start with, personally, to be able to get the gap to maintain P2, because the undercut, as we saw with the two Hasses, is definitely possible and pretty strong. LD Rails saying he's still struggling with his wheel problems, so unfortunate for him today. The first race in, and he's had to have wheel problems, but hopefully he can rectify that pretty quickly and bounce back on the next one. As we see P3 all the way down to P12 decide to come in the pits and get some fresh tyres on. Front runners now with the safety car. Ashton down in P13. I think he's one that's lost out the most at the moment. And Sid doing pretty well up in P6. He obviously has that 3-second time penalty, but doesn't seem to be too bad on his pace. That's the word I was looking for. His pace around this track. What's the tyre situation? I shall pop them up now that everybody has made their stops. There we go. Ooh, ooh, we're seeing a few more softs. Ooh, Nicholas on the soft. I mean, there's going to be, what, six racing laps? 7 racing laps at the most. No, 6 laps from now, isn't it? Yeah, so it'd be about 4 racing laps, 4 or 5. The maths wasn't mathing for a second. So yeah, definitely in the range of soft. So I guess maybe the people on the mediums, they want to have maybe a bit more grip, a bit slightly better tyres towards the end, or they didn't have they should have had a softer pick from, because we had the lobby reset and nobody else used them. So yeah, quite an even split again, really. 4, 5, 6 soft, and then 8 mediums. No, 7 softs, 8 mediums, and then 2 on the hards. So yeah, quite an even split between the medium and the soft. Be interesting to see which one of those two is the better come the end of the race. Dr. Steele, this has played favours into him, this safety car. Even though he got in and out of the pit and managed to maintain P2, this obviously puts him right back on to Nicholas, who made a decent break for it in the opening stint and got himself a nice bit of breathing space to the Ferraris behind. But Chiz has put himself up there and splitting the Ferraris now. As on the previous safety car we had right at the beginning of the race, it was both Ferraris together, so Chiz has done pretty well. I think Chiz started P17. Let me have a look. Chiz started, so Chiz had up to now getting himself from 18th to a podium. A very, very strong race for him at the moment. He's played his cards right, that's for sure. Yeah, Graham and Burrow saying mixed bag of softs and mediums, definitely is. There's Dr. Steele dropping down there. Well, I don't know what's we got. Okay, did he have an off? Oh no, that was a bit weird. When we jumped on with him, the camera wasn't the best to see what was happening, but yeah, Dr. Steele now to P6, so Chiz now P2 as we get the restart. And Nicholas going early, and I think that's caught Chiz napping. Yeah, Chiz is coming into the pits. 3-second time penalty, and that's given Nicholas a bit of breathing space. 3.8 seconds on the restart. I don't quite know what was up with Chiz there. Oh, as we see a bit of carbon fibre flying, I'm not quite sure who that was from. Was it from Robin? I think it may have been Robin West. Yeah, he's lost his left end plate at least on that wing, but he's going for the move with it still, as we've got a little cluster coming up the straight there, and there's a slow Ferrari. Hilly slow through that chicane there. Sid and Robin getting through. Dr. Steele back up into P3. Meza now in P2. Got Griffin and Alberto side by side. Griffin able to get through on Alberto and get ahead. The battle is on between Sid, Robin and Dr. Steele for the podium. And then we've got another battle going on behind us. Ty Clear having a look on Sid. Clear getting himself up into P6, and Clear with having that pit stop able to clear his 10-second penalty that I think he had previously. So at the moment he stands to gain a position on Sid either way, but he wants to have it on track, and he gets it on track for the time being. Battles going on everywhere here. We've got Griffin going through on Shrek. Griffin making moves, getting himself up there. Hilly's dropped right back into P10. He's now under pressure from Drizzle here into the bus stop. Able to... No, he's gone into the pit, so Hilly having a serious issue. Maybe he lost a bit of his wing as well in that turn 1 incident with Robin West, and he retires from this session. But Dr. Steele now making a move on Meza down on the run down to El Rouge. Done way before they need to go up the hill. I don't like being side by side down that hill, so he'll be happy to have got past way before there. But now that's going to leave him to Meza having a look on down the straight, but Meza now tucks back in, not going to make the move this time round. Being sensible, carrying that 3-second penalty already. We'll go back to Ty Clear here with Sid. Sid gets back through on Ty Clear. Trying to keep up with all these battles. There's battles everywhere. This safety car really starting really throwing a spanner in there. Sid and Ty Clear still at it. These two in the pre-season race were complementing each other for the having a nice battle, so they're pretty even with each other at the moment, and again it seems to be the case between those two that they're sort of around similar pace when it comes to the latter stages of the race. But Nicholas getting himself a 5-second buffer. He's got a yellow flag, that's for Eddie Dale, and he's having real issues. Seems to have spun it again. Dr. Steele losing out to Meza here on the run down into the bus stop. Cameras on board, not ideal for that, but we could just see the Cadillac of Meza get through on Dr. Steele as they were under braking. Dr. Steele now coming back at Meza into turn 1, having to go out, look on the outside, looks for the switchback. Can he get a better exit? Can't get the better exit. Meza has that one covered as they make the run down into El Rouge. Now going side by side, Dr. Steele having to yield and slot in behind again, not wanting to be side by side going up the hill. But now he's going to poke out again, try and have a look down the main straight. Meza doing very well to defend his position so far. Dr. Steele having another little look. Can he get it done under braking? Side by side into the chicane. And again, Meza just has the raw grip. Seems to have much more grip than Dr. Steele through the corners. Maybe something to do with the setup choices there. Maybe Dr. Steele is running something a bit lower and not got quite just as much grip going through the corners, but that's all playing well for Meza at the moment as he's defending really well to maintain that P2. He may lose it on as it stands on the penalty, but he'll get it on track, and that's where you want to have it really. Yeah, unfortunate with the penalty, but if you can claim it on the track, that gives you something at least. We've got a battle going on now with Ty Clear and Griffin. So while this is going on, this is allowing Sid to break free of Ty a little bit. So we'll stay with these two, see what happens with these two on the run down into a bus stop. Ty Clear slotting behind Griffin currently. He's going to have a little look under braking. He does have a look under braking. Later on the brakes. Nice move there by Ty Clear. Get a good exit as we hear a bang there in the bus stop. But I think that may have been Shrek. Has he just lost a couple of positions? No, it is. Yeah, I think it was. We'll go back to these guys. Dr. Steele and Meza having their battle at El Rouge again. This time Meza losing out the position, but he's going to have the look at down the main straight, and he does get the move done way before the braking this time. So I think Meza is managing his battery just a little bit better than Dr. Steele at the moment, or Dr. Steele is just thinking, I'm going to recharge a little bit. We're on the penultimate lap, and I'll get you in the last lap where you won't be able to get me back. We'll see what happens between these two. Robin, while those two have been battling, let's allow Robin West to come in and get within the overtake zone of Dr. Steele and Meza. Sid P5 with Griffin and Ty behind. We've got Drizzle getting through on Shrek and Andres. Little battle, four-way battle going on here between these guys. Safety car has brought Nice little bit of action for us in the ending stages of this race. We'll go back. Hang on a minute, we've got a move going on. We have Ashton the Brit making a move on Shrek down into the bus stop. Guys that keep giving us this on board into the bus stop. Stop! Give us the off board. We want to see it off board. Why do this? But Ashton the Brit getting the move done on Shrek, keeping the move done, and Andres also getting through now. But with that, I want to come back to the front guys on this penultimate lap and see what happens here between Dr. Steele and Meza, as Dr. Steele is looking for the move on Meza. He's having to choose the outside line as it stands. Meza's been defending really well these past few laps. He wants this on track. He doesn't care that he has a penalty at the moment. That comes after the race. That loses his position after the race. While they're racing, he wants the position on the track, and he's not going to let Dr. Steele take that from him as it stands. It's just who's going to have the battery left for that back straight down on the run down to the bus stop. But Nicholas has shown raw pace around this track today, breaking himself a gap at the start, having that come back from the safety car, and then breaking the gap again. He has been a force to be reckoned with in this race. Really, really good race from Nicholas. I was qualifying in P2, but we got Dr. Steele early, and he's done a good job of the race ever since that moment. But here we are on that back straight. Can Dr. Steele get the move done on track at this bus stop chicane? So I want to go to Nicholas to cross the line, but we've got this battle going on. So there goes Nicholas crossing the line as we get the camera switch at the right time. Nicholas claims the win. Who's going to get it on track between these two? On the run, I think Meza got it on track. We'll see the time. Oh, he had a 6. I didn't look at the penalties. I thought he only had 3 seconds. It looks like he had a 9 seconds. Oh, okay. So that penalty coming in nasty for him come the end of the race, but on track he did a mega job with his defending against Dr. Steele. He made Dr. Steele work and gave him a bit of action for it, and for us watching it, it was a nice battle to watch. So there you have it. There is our final. Oh, it was 10 seconds, so we got it for speeding in the pit lane. I thought it was the seeding track limit. See, there was that much going on. I couldn't notice it. I should have had a look, really. But like I said, as for the spectacle, he gave us them both Dr. Steele and Meza gave us a great battle. And between Andres and that behind, Ashton the Brit, Sid there ending up in P7. There was a good couple of battles come the end of that race. So that will conclude the first race of Season 7 with the new regulations. Nicholas taking P1, Dr. Steele taking P2, Robin West claiming the final podium position. And to be fair, I'd say that's a deserved podium, because Robin West had a good race as well, especially in that opening stint, having a battle with his teammate, battling with the Cadillac. Yeah, you know, he's had to work for that podium as well. But yeah, lovely bit of racing that we've seen for the opener here in D2. Nice track for it. Belgium always seems to bring out a bit of action, and it didn't disappoint today, that's for sure. But as for interviews, I can't do them unless they're all on Xbox, which I can see Dr. Steele isn't, and that, so there aren't going to be any interviews this time round, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get that sorted out and have some going for you guys soon on that side. But yeah, so everybody watching, thank you for joining us. A great opener, and join us again tomorrow, Wednesday 8 p.m. for Division 1, where hopefully they can give us the same and a good spectacle, a good lot of battles, because who knows with these new regulations at the moment and the way the battery is, and some people managing it, everybody managing it differently. So I expect a good one tomorrow. So yeah, join me and Ashton the Brit, who raced today. He'll be on the comms with me as far as I'm aware. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and if you liked it, join us again tomorrow and watch Division 1 as they take on their first round. But thank you and good night.